about that. Um, yeah. Hi, we ready? Okay, we're ready. So, welcome, my friends, to Dubster Dive. If it's for my daughter, I'd even defeat a Demon Lord. This is my second attempt to try to do this because the last one I felt I could have done a much better job with, so here we are. So, firstly, if you haven't heard of this anime, TLDR, it's actually really good. Go watch it. No, seriously, I actually really enjoyed this one. But before we get into why, time for a history lesson. Let's return to the year of 2014. A year like any other, except that it wasn't. Where a person named, oh god, Kirilu? I don't know. They began writing a light novel illustrated by Truffle. It was in August when they published their first volume of it, with the title listed in the video. If it's for my daughter, I'd even defeat a demon light novel. Titles are so damn long. Anyway, so August 2014 it comes out, and the illustrator apparently quit or got replaced, because in volume 2 onwards, it was done by someone named Key. It's so bizarre. But alright. Either way, to date, it seems there have been 7 light novels published. And yeah, all things considered, I heard the light novel's doing pretty well. But let's flash forward a bit to May 2018, when a brand new animation studio would rise from the ashes, known as Maho Films. And Maho Films have done nothing at this time. For the majority of 2018, actually for all of it since their founding, they did nothing. So, February 2019 rolls around, during the crap show of the anime industry literally collapsing in on itself over here in the US. The US, by the way, for you plebs that don't get that joke. It was announced that the light novel, if it's for my daughter, I'd even defeat a Demon Lord. How many times am I going to say that title by the end of this video? It was announced it would be getting an anime adaptation airing in the summer, running from July to September, and would be 12 episodes. But who would animate this show? Why, Maho Films! This would be their first outing, and to date, it is their only outing. So, the show comes out, and wraps up. To my knowledge, it seems it did okay. Strangely enough, though, Crunchyroll in November would then start airing a simuldub of it. I don't even know if you could call it a simuldub. The show was over by that point. But regardless, this show recently ended in English dub, and here we are. So, what is the show about? Despite the title, it is not an isekai. I actually thought it was the second I saw the title of the anime when the dub first premiered, because before that, I maybe heard brief mention of this anime. Regardless, it's your typical fantasy anime. For once, it's just a straight up fantasy anime. Guys, I'm sorry, but there aren't too many of those left, so we gotta take them while we can, okay? The humans and the demon races seem to be at some sort of odds in this world. And our story picks up following a mercenary named Dale. Truly a badass name that will strike fear into the hearts of evildoers. But he's such a good merc that he has apparently made a name for himself as a demon hunter, monster hunter, whatever you want to call it. Well, Episode 1 starts with him on his way back from a journey when he happens to stumble upon a young demon girl on the brink of death. Presumably her parents are dead, since they're nowhere around. Dale naturally feels sympathetic towards her and decides to take her back to his town, nurse her back to health, and over the while, forms a bond with her. This girl is named Latina. And she is the reason that many people that watched this anime that season died of moe poisoning. I'm not joking, guys. It's so moe, I can't take it. It warms my frozen heart and gives me faith that this isn't all worthless, you know? Anyway, so that's more or less the basic setup, is Latina has to adjust to human life, and Dale has to learn to raise a daughter. The show more or less deals with things such as parenthood, the bond between a parent and child, as well as shows you how being a doting helicopter parent can also be detrimental. Just like not raising your child correctly could hinder you as well. It's honestly a really powerful message that I don't think I've seen many anime cover, at least not within the last several years. So it's a nice change of pace. And again, despite the title, the show is mainly a slice of life, focused entirely on the relationship between the two. And I'd like to go into any more details, but I feel like that would spoil it. For anyone who hasn't seen the show, please go watch it. I highly recommend it. To see the bond develop from episode 1 all the way through to episode 12 with these two, it is really heartwarming and sweet. It's a really, really nice, feel-good kind of anime. But, moving on from that, let's talk about animation. Again, I have no one here to talk about it with me, so I'll have to go based on what I saw online, and other people were claiming that it was fairly good. So, no complaints here. Surprising, since this is the studio's first anime, but, you know, I guess they did a good job. Go away, Pop-Up. Go away, you're interrupting me. Bad. Next, we have music. And music, again, is okay. It's passable. Nothing standout tracks, but it gets the job done for an anime like this. And that's all that really matters, right? I don't think you're coming to a slice of life to hear heavy metal epic music. So, again, music gets a pass. It is what it is. Now, moving on to the English dub. The reason this show even exists. So, firstly, we have Dale, our mercenary, voiced by Brandon Winkler, who you all might also know as Yu-Gi-Oh! From Sword Art Online Alicization. We'll get to that soon. That show will be covered eventually. And personally, awesome job. I really think he did a great job voicing someone who just really brought his A game here. He sounds like someone that you could easily believe as a doting parent. And there are several moments throughout the show, I guess kind of minor spoilers, but not really, where Latina's demon heritage has her the target of her own ridicule and comments. Dale puts his foot down and defends her in such a stern way. It's like, oh wow, dude, you went from 0 to 100 in a second. I'm actually impressed. So, again, great VA. I think he did a good job here. Next, we have Latina, the object of moe. She is voiced by Ryan Bartley, who some of you might know as the new Ray from the Ava's new dub on Netflix, Evangelion, by the way, or Rom from ReZero, and so on and so forth. Again, great job. She did a perfect job sounding exactly like, well, to use a term that I'm sure people would want to punch me for, playing someone very totes and dorbs in moe. Again, just epic casting. Speaking of which, one thing that they had to do in the first episode, because Latina didn't know any English, or whatever language they speak here, she had to speak in demon dialect for the majority of the first episode, and Dale knew bits and pieces of it and had to communicate with her via that until she learned English. So what they did was they actually had the voice actors speak in that demon dialect for the first episode. That could not have been easy for Brandon or Ryan, and they nailed it. Again, that might have been the reason why Crunchyroll waited a couple months to actually dub this show instead of dubbing it the season it aired. I wouldn't be surprised, but either way, mad props to them for that. It was great. We also have Keiji Tang voicing one of the other main characters named Kenneth. He is the owner of the home that Latina and Dale are staying at. And again, he basically, I don't know how to put it, he plays the old mentor dude in a sense, and does a good job. Yeah, I've always been a fan of Keiji Tang. So, he's cool. We then have Jeannie Torado playing Rita, one of the other mains, who is Kenneth's wife, and, you know, another VA I've actually always liked. It's a cool VA, so great casting. She does a good job sounding like your typical, I guess you'd call it motherly figure. We then have others like Landon McDonald and your typical Bang Zoom cast. Personally, no one in this cast struck me as being a particularly bad VA. Everyone brought their A game to this show, and I'm really happy they did. So, yeah, the dub, top notch. I highly recommend watching it in dub if you can. But, moving on from that, I guess before I get into spoilers and what minor negatives and nitpicks I have towards the plot, I will give you my grade for this show. I give it a solid B+. Again, this show came at the perfect time for me personally. I was in the mood for a really nice feel-good anime, because 2019 was, I make no secret of it, it was a rough year. I think it was for all of us. But this anime was just, it's a really nice anime, like I said. So, if you have the chance, please go check it out. It has really strong character writing and emphasizes how important a child can be in your life and how they can change you for the better. And how becoming a parent will completely alter your perspective on the world. Now, I can't speak from experience, but this show did it in such a masterful way that it makes you feel like, I wonder if, that's how I feel one day, type of deal. But, anyways, great show. So moving into spoilers now with my minor nitpicks, because obviously there has to be a few issues, being as how this show only got a B+. So if you don't want to hear them, back out. So, I don't have very many, but I do have a couple. Firstly, I know this show isn't for everyone, and there are a few standout things that people might find a little stupid. Like I said, Dale and Latina are living with Kenneth and Rita, and they run a bar. Now, Dale's a mercenary, that's how he works. But Latina works at the bar as a waitress, handing out alcohol and all the other stuff to customers that are, your typical bar folk. Not the type that get into fights, but the type that get plastered. And it's a little silly. Again, it's anime logic, so you have to go with it. But I could see some people bringing up an issue with that, because it is really finicky. There are other things that were a little weird, like apparently it's implied Dale was standoffish in the beginning and Latina changed him for the better. The problem is, we don't get to see much of this. There's a couple of flashbacks here or there, but we don't really get to see Dale much before he met Latina. So if he was standoffish, it's not really shown. It's more like it's told. And we all know the first rule of fiction: show, don't tell. This probably was fixed in the light novels, and it's not a deal breaker for me personally, but it was just a minor issue I had, a minor nitpick. I feel like they could have shown us a little more on that, on Dale before he met Latina. Speaking of which, again, this is something with the anime and not with the light novels since they're still currently going. In the anime, there are several points where it tries bringing up the politics of the demon world, where Latina's parents, you find out one of them was really important in the grand scheme of things. But because the anime ends at episode 12, there's no conclusion to that plot thread. So it feels like something they should have left out if they were never going to get to that point in the light novels, because I'm guessing that goes somewhere in the light novels. It's pretty obvious it's a setup for something big. Regardless, though, none of this was enough to deter me from the anime and give it a B+. The character writing is incredibly strong here. The development between Latina and Dale, again in episode 1, he's just someone who wants to help a young child. He goes from that to being a complete blithering idiot whenever Latina's around and a wreck when she's not near him. So, it's kind of funny to see stuff like that. The character development is really strong. Before anyone says, but didn't you say, Dale, you don't get to see much about him before that? I did. And what I was talking about is they were claiming he was standoffish. We don't get to see any of that. That's what I was complaining about. So, that sounds confusing. I'm sorry, I'm probably not wording it very well, but yeah. I'd like to see a little more Dale before he found Latina, is all I'm getting at. Anyway, I feel like the show handled the whole, I guess, what would you call it, racism against demons with Latina pretty well. You had there's a moment where Latina goes to school and the teacher there is incredibly racist towards her, to the point where it's like, oh, okay, you're really cliche at this point. It's again really messed up. But Dale goes apeshit. I absolutely loved every second of it. Because I feel like that is genuinely how a parent would react to a situation like this. And it's stuff like that that really brings the show to life to me. Or for me. Now, I could go on and on about why I really like this anime and go into every plot detail and pick it apart, but there's no point. I just wanted to go over the minor nitpicks and issues I had with it. And I feel like if this show got a season 2, it might be able to resolve what minor issues I do have with it. Which, currently, there are no plans for a second season from what I've seen at the time of this. However, the show, from what reviews I have looked up, seems to have gotten anywhere from a 3.5 to a 4 out of 5. And again, 4 out of 5, or B+, is about where I'd put it. So, hope you all go and watch it, because I'd enjoy it. Who knows, maybe you'll like it more than I did, maybe you won't. It's on Crunchyroll, and yeah. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have an anime recommendation, please let us know in the comments below, and we will try to get to it. Won't make any promises, but we will try to get to it. And if you've seen this show, please let us know what you thought of it. If you haven't, well then, let us know why you won't watch it. I don't know. But thank you all again so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great day. Till next time, guys.